swing and a drive. Right field and deep. Back goes Aquino. It's got a chance. Gone. Get out the tape measure. Long gone.
Fly the W!
Cubs fans, it's time to fly the W with Dustin Rhodes and Paul Crawley-Jean.
Welcome to a special live edition of Fly the W. I have an awesome guest, and here's the thing. I'm sitting here, and the Cubs have kind of struggled. They just lost 2 series in a row, and I wanted to bring a positive vibe, a positive guest. And this, what I got going on here is a story that is just unbelievable. This is a true story. I'm sitting at work, you know, when I should be working, and all of a sudden I see on Facebook Reels a Cub fan singing with Eddie Vedder, and shock of shock, it is my friend, my high school classmate, Jason Brown, Pearl Jam fan extraordinaire, Cub fan extraordinaire. Jason, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's kind of hard to not be good when you're on a Pearl Jam tour, but definitely tired.
Well, like I said, you know, you and I grew up at the same time, close by each other, same high school. We grew up in the 80s with Harry Carey and the 1984 team, and then the 90s team and Kerry Wood and Sammy Sosa. So we grew up at a really fun time to be a Cubs fan, but we also grew up in a fun time to be a music fan. And one of the bands that both you and I liked in high school, I wouldn't say love, like we were just crazy about when that debut album came out, was Pearl Jam. Tell me a little bit about the first time that you ever heard Pearl Jam.
So when they came out, there was a friend. Oh, shoot. Actually, it was another high school classmate, Jeremy Panzer. I remember he gave me a tape. He's like, you got to listen to this. And of course, you know, you run home and you put the tape in the tape deck and you push play. And from the first time I heard words out of Eddie Vedder's mouth, I was like, I saw my path in life. Like, I mean, it was pretty much obsession from day one. And now here we are, what, 30, well, what is it, 34, 35 years later? So, yeah, that's where it started, and just never stopped.
Now, you were one of the first people to get into the 10 Club, right?
Definitely not one of the first. I was kind of, you know, a young teenage boy, and we don't think very well. So I kind of joined a little bit later, but
Okay.
I got in the 90s, which was really good for me.
And
now.
you and I,
So,
you and I have seen Eddie. We went to an Earthling show together, which was a lot of fun. I think it was at the Chicago Theater.
yeah.
And you know, you've had these two loves of both the Cubs and Pearl Jam, and you know, I'm not as big a Pearl Jam nut as you. I'm not even going to try to go there. But that being said, you know, there's like a little sense of pride you have when your favorite lead singer is also like in love with the same team that you are. Like when I saw Eddie Vedder, I met him at Wrigley Field before. I've you know, just, you know, saw him obviously at the World Series, and it just put a smile on your face that someone that, you know, that you have like this connection with, you know, this awesome singer that just loves the same team and lives and dies with them, just like you and I do.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You know, that just kind of made it feel even better when you find out that, you know, your biggest idol, the person that you just look up to the most, loves the other thing you love the most in life. And uh yeah, I mean, I have unfortunately not been able to meet him at Wrigley. This was about as close as I got to him ever. So,
Pretty darn
but
close, Jason.
we'll get into that in a bit, I guess.
Well, I got to ask you, tell me, you know, after high school, you know, your love of Pearl Jam doesn't die. You served in the military, correct?
I did, yeah, I did some time. I was a combat medic, and then an Army National Guard. Um, Kind of loved the adrenaline, you know, of saving somebody's life. And I stayed the course and became an ER nurse. Been doing that for, many years.
And that's just
So
phenomenal. And how does Pearl Jam help you as far as like with your work? Because you do deal with some heavy stuff, man. And Pearl Jam, the music for me, I know it just has something for every mood. But sometimes, like when I'm kind of just need to just kind of just relax and let it go, it's like sometimes just putting on some Pearl Jam, it's just kind of like the right medicine.
sure. Yeah, I mean, 100%. It depends on how I'm feeling or what I need, because I know that they're always there for me, if it's either to lift you back up or even sometimes just to calm you down. And they have those songs that allow you to experience those two things. And like I said, I'm an Ed guy. Like, listening to his voice is just, I mean, it just grabs my attention right away and just kind of puts me in like a nice, steady, calm state.
Now, at what point in your life did you say, you know what, it would be fun? What if I went to a whole hell of a lot of Pearl Jam shows? What if I tour with them? When did you make that decision to start kind of doing that? Because that's a whole nother level.
Yeah. So the first show, I was 1995 at Soldiers Field for me. And that turned out to be one of the most iconic Pearl Jam shows, to date. And, to be a 19-year-old standing on Soldier Field, which was another dream as a Chicagoan, seeing your favorite band for the first time. And then it turns out to be like a 3.5 hour show. So from that moment, I was like, this is what I want to do. But then I had to go through life to kind of grow up to be able to afford such things, because you realize that it's not that easy at those young ages. So the shows were kind of few and far between for me back then. But in 2000, I was 25 then. Got to, try to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and I decided to go find myself. So I moved out of Iowa City and took a backpack, and I hopped on the whole binaural tour, which was 48 shows that year. So I got numbers high quickly, and just kind of kept going ever since.
All right. Show, I can see on your wristband. And so tell everybody what that's on your wrist there.
Oh, so these are, here, let me see if I can get it. These
And I
are
love
all the GA bands from, we started in Florida for 2 nights, and then we went to Atlanta for 2 nights, and then we got Nashville in there, and we have last night Raleigh 1.
So let's talk Nashville. Now, here is you in a picture of you in the front row, and tell me, what does it take to, if you want that spot right here, if you want front row right in front of Eddie Vedder, what do you have to do to get that spot?
Have a level of insanity. You have to just kind of dive in and commit to kind of diving into, camping out if possible under like sometimes good conditions, sometimes not so good conditions. But there's a lot of people here that are just like me, and we share the same passions. So we're all very like-minded individuals, and it just makes the situation easier because we're all here for each other to get that spot that we want to pick on that rail.
So
Now,
I'm sitting here looking, and
Yeah.
you have like a little fold out chair. How many hours would you say you're on that fold out chair?
uh, you'd be surprised. It's not that many, because I can't sit still longer than 5-10 minutes. So, but overall, cumulatively, I would say it's probably in the thousands.
So you're at Nashville. You don't know what you're
Yeah.
going to expect, and that's the fun thing about Pearl Jam, and similar to the Grateful Dead and Dave Matthews Band. There's a lot of bands that don't play the same show twice in a row. Like some
Right.
bands you go to and you know what the set list is going to be, and with Pearl Jam, you don't. And so you get to the Nashville show, and you must have had this circled on the calendar because it was May 6th. And we know May 6th, this was the 27th anniversary of Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout game. And so here you are right here with I can see your Cubs hat on with the World Series logo. It looks like some Cubs shades, and you got your obvious shirt. Kerry Wood is still my favorite. So you got that right there. And so, I mean, did you say like, maybe was it like, okay, I'm here, Eddie's going to be here, I'm going to be close, I'm going to put something so Kerry Wood on just because I know Eddie's going to love it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from the moment the tour was announced, like officially, I started looking at the calendar, and you always look for special things on show days because, there's something to maybe be celebrated, whether they're good or bad. And this one happened to be, I was like, oh boy, this is Kid K's 20 game. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make a thing of this. And plus, Nashville, it's like, it's a music town, it's a fun party town, it's going to be exciting and electric. And I'm like, what better way to honor Kerry, who lives there, on the day with his favorite band, and which happens to be my favorite band.
Did you know
So
that Kerry would be there?
I did not at the time when I was planning, but I did know once Showtime came up because of a gentleman I met in Atlanta, who's also a big avid Cubs fan, had some Cubs gear on, and he brought his little son, who also had Cubs gear on, and made a sign. And they were kind of standing behind me, second row, from the rail, and he was wanting to hear Wish List, and they played it. So I brought the kid up, and I let him have his moment on the rail, and he got totally excited, and it was amazing. And then we started talking, the dad and I started talking, and he said that he had took a picture of me earlier in the day wearing my Kerry Wood jersey. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, yeah, I sent it to one of my friends because I thought like he'd appreciate it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's Kerry Wood. So that naturally was like for me, right?
let me
So
let me
that's, yeah.
let me walk you through this right here. So you're sitting there, the show starts, and a lot of times, sometimes you got two different, to me, I don't know, and you tell me, you're the expert here. I've been to the a decent number, not a decent, a fair amount of Pearl Jam shows. Like next to you, I'm not even close, but just that idea of like, sometimes I feel like they kick it off with a bang, but other times it kind of got like a low rumble and there's like a buildup, right?
Yeah.
And when I look at that set list, that's what it kind of looks like to me, like a slow buildup, and then it just starts going crazy, right?
Yes, 100%. And that night one in Nashville was just incredible because it was exactly what you just said. They started out with like a great buildup, and then they just took off, and they feed off of their crowd. So when the crowd is really going, they keep trying harder and harder, but the set just kind of kept growing and growing. And it was an electric night, honestly, which made me kind of go crazy.
So you're close. You're right at the stage. Eddie Vedder is going to
Yep.
be very close as well. Did you
Mhm.
ever kind of make eye contact, or were you waving the jersey, or were you trying to get his attention? How did you know that he saw you?
Well, I was kind of in this nice little sweet spot. So I don't know if anybody's familiar, but they don't have a straight rail at their shows. Ed has a little bit of a bump that kind of comes out from a rail that people can stand around, and they get a little extra time with him. I was in the corner of that bump, kind of on Stone Gossard's side, which was like a perfect spot because that's right in Ed's like view when he sings, and he kind of looks that way and goes that way. So there was really no doubt that he wouldn't see my shirt. Didn't have the jersey on at the time because it was getting too hot, so I took it off for most of the show. And that's how he saw me. And he's Ed's one of those guys that he's really paying attention to the crowd, the first like 3, 4, 5 rows, and he's even looking out into the seats on the left and the right. So he's well aware of the familiar faces that are at the shows.
So I'm going to go through this video right here. Can you hear me?
I can.
All righty. So there's Eddie, and he's kind of jamming, right? Like I can see Eddie, and he's jamming a little bit. And there's you, and you're kind of rocking out. And when you're doing that, at what point do you notice that he notices you? Like something's happening and he's kind of like pointing, he's dancing. Tell us what song was going on and what happens here.
So this was during Brain of Jay. And he had, he kind of walked over, and I think he may have like really read the shirt at that point. Came back, and I went to go reach what I thought was for my Cubs sunglasses. So I go to hand them to him, and he's like, "No, get up here." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "No, come on, get up here." And I said, "Okay." So I hopped over the rail and went up, and now here's the video.
Now it looked like obviously there's probably a little bit of nerves going on there when you look at this situation because you got the security guy right there and all that stuff. And
Not at all.
and so you get back
Not
and
at
you're
all.
just now at that point you're electric. Everyone's happy. Tell us then what happens later on in the show.
So towards the end of the show, I don't even remember what they were playing, but I wanted to show Ed that I had a Wood jersey on because when you wear jerseys at a concert, you don't really see the back. So I held it up so we can actually see the Wood 34, and he just came right over and swiped it out of my hands, and he took off with it. He
And
stole
so
my
he
jersey.
so
And I'm
he
like,
sings
well,
the
all right.
he sings the last few songs wearing your Kerry Wood jersey, and then poof off.
Yep. And he's gone. Kept my
He's
jersey.
gone.
It's gone. Yep, gone.
Now I saw the video, and again, I want to thank Evil Little Goat on Instagram. He had all this great video that I'm using to kind of show people what's going on here. So give him a follow on Instagram. If you're a big Pearl Jam, I'm sure you already follow Evil Little Goat, but if not, follow him now. But I think that to me, then now you sit there and you got Nashville Night 2, and you have no Kerry Wood jersey. Are you kind of like figuring out?
I felt naked.
Wondering how you're going to get that thing back?
Kinda. I mean, after buzzing from night one, there was an awful lot of attention coming my way, and it was all positive. It was very exciting for, a lot of these Pearl Jam fans, including myself. But night two, I was like, yeah, I want my jersey. like, like Eddie Vedder stole my jersey, and like I'm a little bitter about it. But if I'm gonna lose it, I'll lose it to him. But yeah, I didn't really know what to do other than, we'll see if he gives it back.
But now all of a
So
sudden it's night 2, and there is a special guest in the crowd.
there is, and yeah, I'll tell you about it. So we're getting ready for Pearl Jam to come on. This was after the opening band, and I got a call from the gentleman that knows Kerry saying, "Hey, I need you to come meet me in section 107. We got something for you, but come before the set." So I quickly just run out of the pit, run over to section 107, see my buddy, and then all of a sudden there's Kerry Wood, and he goes, "Hey, I came down to meet you, and I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm so humbled and honored that you honored me, and my kids really, really enjoyed that, and you rocked it. And I wanted to give you a small token of my appreciation." And he gave me a signed Kerry Wood jersey, which I
So
thought
that right
was
there,
really freaking cool.
and
Yeah.
it says, Jason, keep rocking, Kerry Wood, 20K, 5698. I mean, he inscribed it like a pro. I'm sure he's, and so now at this
Yeah.
point, you have a new Kerry Wood jersey, but you can't wear that at a Pearl Jam show.
Correct. It's already wrapped in plastic before I get home. So
So you're going to have to get that thing framed special.
yes.
And then when you take a look there, did he give you that obvious shirt?
He did give me the obvious shirt as well. But one small thing to get back, the main reason he gave me the jersey was because he said that he felt bad that Ed stole my jersey. And I'm like, exactly. See, I knew you would get it because all my friends were like, "You should be so happy you were on stage." And I'm like, but he stole my Kerry Wood jersey, you know? And apparently he talked to Ed about that after night one. And this is a little funny tidbit. He's talking to him. He's like, "Hey, Ed, you know, like, that was really cool, but like, you stole that guy's jersey. And Ed goes, he'll be okay. And then Kerry goes, that's fucked up.
And so you get
So
that jersey, that shirt. I
yeah,
don't know. Was that sold to the public? I don't even know if that
I,
was sold to the public.
that's what I'm saying. I honestly don't know because I was like, wow, I've never seen that shirt before. So yeah, I'm gonna probably wear that, and we'll uh we'll enclose the jersey. We'll retire it.
That is definitely a jersey to be retired. And
Yeah.
this put such a smile on my face because, I mean, for me, when the Cubs asked me to present Miguel Montero with the World Series ring, like it just meant the world to me. Like all that,
Yeah.
to be a fan and give so much of yourself to something, like that, and then all of a sudden to be rewarded for it one day is just like
Right.
nothing else. And when I watched you jumping up and down on that stage, and when you get back, you just got this big shit-eating grin on your face, man.
Oh yeah.
You're literally on a different planet, man. And I just watched that, and I was like, man, it couldn't happen to a better guy. And
Uh,
just the way that you live and breathe Pearl Jam and Cubs, and just to have all those worlds all meet in Nashville is just fantastic. And
absolutely.
what does it say about Kerry Wood as a guy to do all of that? Like he didn't have to do any of that, but whatever, dude.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it's funny because our mutual friend, he showed me the text message thread that he had with Kerry, and Kerry's like, "Hey, is your Cubs guy gonna be at the show for night 2?" And he's like, "Yes." And he goes, "What's his name?" And he told him Jason. And so it was I'm still on cloud nine, and I might just move up there, to be honest with you. I might just stay, you know. It's like, how do you
Yeah,
top that? But
yeah, that's hard to top, man. But it really, like I said,
yeah,
if anyone deserved it, man, it was you, and I'm just so happy. And
yeah,
it's funny because I have all sorts of memorabilia, and I can't keep it all. I just unless I win the lotto and get some more wall space, I'm about filled. And I remember I was like, okay, I got something that I think you'll like if you're interested. And it was a Kerry Wood. It was Eddie Vedder throwing the first pitch, and Kerry Wood caught it, and Kerry Wood's giving Eddie the ball back, and Eddie's got a big smile on his face like a big old
yeah.
kid,
You're right,
and,
right.
and you have that. It's signed. I got it signed by Kerry Wood, and I tried for years to get it signed by Eddie. I remember I thought I came really close. One time he performed at Rosemont with the Who. He was subbing in for
Yeah.
Roger Daltrey and Pete and
Yep.
Simon Townsend were there, and he was there, and I waited probably till 4 a.m. waiting for him to come out. I was like, man, please come out. I never got it. And I'm like, all right, I can't keep this thing anymore, but if someone's going to get it done, it's Jason. And so I got a feeling now that maybe one day that's going to be signed, and that's going to be awesome, man. And what an honor. And you are a bleacher bum. You got season tickets in the bleacher. Your son,
Yep.
he worked he worked at Wrigley Field, still working at Wrigley?
No, he just did the 1 year for now. So but his name is Vedder, and he's 20. So
Hey, man.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say
But
what an experience for you, man.
yeah, funny thing, I'm glad you brought up that print, which, by the way, thank you for that. I mean, that just warmed my heart like so much. I actually brought it reluctantly to Nashville because I'm like, all of these stars can potentially align, and I'm like, I have to try to bring this. So I got a little poster tube, a plastic one that I knew I can bring in because I asked the venue, and I had it with me, and I tried to get it up to Eddie, but he decided to steal my jersey instead. So
Well,
we'll see.
maybe one day in exchange for the jersey, he'll sign that print, and it will be completed. And boy, think about that. Wouldn't it be cool to encase that with the jersey?
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's going to be a whole wall full of like that Nashville weekend,
Absolutely love
So,
it, Jason, and congratulations on everything, man. And I just wanted to put this out here. Like I said, put some good vibes in the air for the Cubs. Hopefully they beat the Marlins, and hopefully this tour continues to kick some ass and you continue to rock it out. And I look forward to seeing you when you come back to Wrigley.
Yeah, awesome, my man. Thank you so much for having me. And hey, go Cubs. And let's go get the W's.
Go Cubs.
Yes.
over.